Hello, my dear friends. This is what you see behind me. It's Lviv or Lvov, Ukraine. And it's really amazing place. I mean, especially now, because it's, you know, probably that Ukraine is in the war with Russia. And you probably know that Russians attack Ukraine and not the opposite, because last time I was listening some Russian ambassador who was saying that Ukrainians attack Russia, and everybody laughs there, certainly. But anyway, I would like to talk about Lviv or Ukraine. But you should know that I haven't visited all Ukraine. But at least I visit Lviv or Lvov, Odessa before the war, in the middle of the war. Now I'm actually going there, and I will visit other places in Ukraine. And I would like to talk about everything what's happening in Ukraine. First of all, I would like to tell you that when I was here first time, that was just before war, I noticed in Odessa and in other places where I was traveling with the car from Europe to Odessa, so I actually pass mostly quite a big part of Ukraine, let's say like that. And I observe, that's let's say some kind of my job in my life is that I'm observing people, especially because people are the all what I observe, because you can make a building like these ones, like Lvov, which is one of the most beautiful cities and is in UNESCO heritage, but people are here always some kind of problem, I would say, because even first time, so before the war, I noticed like a huge difference. On one side you can find and see a lot of old Russian Lada cars. Old, that means probably around 40, 50 years, 60 years old, something like that. That was the major, or let's say most popular car in Odessa and in other places. On the other side, I saw a huge amount of new Tesla cars. So that means, from my perspective, that you have a lot of people who have a lot of money, and on the other side, huge amount of people who they don't have nothing, let's say like that. And at that time, when I observe everything and then tension and everything, and I already have a feeling, you know, that will be a war, because that just doesn't work, you know. It just doesn't work. It doesn't matter where you live, in which country or whatever will happening. Once upon a time, if you will have huge amount of rich people and huge amount of poor people who they don't know what they will eat next day, then you will have war soon, for sure. Maybe inside, maybe somebody will attack you from outside, but everything is orchestrated from inside out. Like, I actually even observed few families there. I wouldn't say that I was all around, you know, I don't know 47 million of Ukrainians, don't worry about that. But most of the families, what I saw, are not happy families. They try everything that their sons or daughters would do or live life which they plan for them. And that's, if you don't give a freedom to your children, then you should expect problems. And children will probably run away from you. And they will not care about you either when you will be old. I noticed that even in my country, a lot of times parents try to put their children in their path, to make them that they will think like they do. And that doesn't work either. That's the same, you know. I'm sure that every war starts first inside of you like a human being, and then it starts growing out. Like a cancer, like all the sicknesses or illnesses, whatever you wish to use, it's more or less the same. So what would I do, or what I would recommend, and what I observe in Ukraine? First of all, you know, it's still very, how can I say, very closed-minded country. You know, people are not open. Even they actually, for an example, you know, they try to go to European Union. But the point in European Union is that it's democratic country. So democracy, it's not just about, you know, that you can do or think whatever you wish. It's more about that you allowed other people freedom. One of mostly important thing which I observe around the world, and I think so that most people don't understand, is gay prides around the world. Because wherever the gay pride is, you know, free, so that means that people can walk, gay people, or they're usually not just gay people on gay prides, because that's a parade. So a lot of people, you know, coming, like parents, children, and everything in the developed countries in Europe, or democratic countries in Europe. And they celebrate freedom to be. Being is important. And in Ukraine, what I observe, you cannot be, because you will be judged. Even if you have a look on the YouTube or wherever, you will notice how the gay prides were not welcome, even in Kiev, the capital city of Ukraine, just some years ago. Maybe now, because of the war, and they are saying that you know, they have some gay people who are fighting on the Ukrainian side. Maybe that you know, is changing, let's say, in younger generation. But older generation, I honestly doubt it. And you know, if you're still thinking, you know, that some people cannot live, or you need to kill them, or whatever, like most, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of people in Ukraine still think that their gay people shouldn't exist. And you know, not just gay people, people who dress differently, people who dye their hair differently, people who think differently, then you have a big problem. And that sort of country cannot be, you know, open-minded, cannot be in Europe. I mean, honestly, it's very hard. And you know, and it's really amazing, because today in Lviv we just walk around, and I met one guy, drunk guy, actually come to us and sit next to us. He was ex-army guy. He showed us his part of the shrapnel from his leg and everything. He was drunk, that's alright. But still he starts telling me how Ukrainians actually try to fight in the name of all Europe to stop all the gay people who are coming towards Europe. And I was just a bit, you know, because that's what it's Russian propaganda is actually saying. So it's weird that even, you know, Ukrainians believe that. So I'm not sure, because, you know, Russia actually canceled all the gay propaganda, and they're actually, you know, not just gay, but it's emo, it's everyone who is a bit different or is showing some kind of a different style of love, or even be dressing a little bit different, they have a problems now in our dear Russia, or Putin's Russia, like they call it. And we should understand that that will not bring peace, you know, because you're attacking certain people. That's what Germany did, if you remember. They start with Jews, homosexuals, gypsies, and then Slavic, Yugoslavians, Bosnians. I mean, they pick it up more or less everyone on the end who wasn't with them, except the, let's say, the German race, or, you know, the special race of German people. And that didn't work at that time, and will not work in this time. You know, even like, I mean, it's still really, for me, ununderstandable that, you know, 70 years after that, most of the countries, you know, especially those close to Russia, let's say like that, or countries which they were under Russian regime, communism, let's say like that, they're still attacking certain people, you know. But I'm not talking about just like I said, gay people. You have Jews too, you know that they're not welcome in a lot of countries. And now all the Europeans, they are not welcome in Russia. So there is not, we cannot just talk about some group of people, because soon you will be one of them too, if you don't understand that. Because the politics doesn't choose. On the beginning they say, oh, let's attack those, and then they add another group of people, and then they add another group of people, and it's going, you know, towards you. But then it's too late. So let's talk a little bit more about the Ukrainians and what would be my suggestion. First of all, you shouldn't put yourself and your opinion in a front and just believe that that's all what you think, and that's all everyone need to listen and do whatever you're saying. What a lot of people do, because that's just your opinion, you know. And that opinion actually came out from your education, or let's say from your raising up, from your parents mostly. Because I mean, you have inside of Ukraine, you have a huge discrimination. Let's start just, you know, with speaking English. I mean, English is still one of the most popular languages around the world. And it's not about that only English people speak English. Everyone who is usually traveling learn one of the languages with which you can communicate in other parts of the world. because English is widely spoken, or let's say the huge amount of people around the world, their second language is English. And could be German, could be French, it's more languages, that's true. But with English you can practically speak wherever you wish. And in Ukraine, it's quite hard to speak English. I mean, the younger generation can speak in some places. But in most places, even when I'm traveling here, Uzhhorod, Lviv, Odessa, they don't speak even few words of English. So it's very hard even to, check into the hotel sometimes, or if you have any problems or things like that. And that's just what people here, think and believe, that they don't need another language. Because even it's quite amazing, even just a few days ago I tried to buy a train ticket from Lviv to Odessa, and I went to the Kassa, or the place where you can buy the tickets, ticket office, and it was written on the top of that place, international tickets, in lovely English. And when I tried to talk with that lady there in English, she said, "No, I don't speak English. You're in Ukraine, you should speak Ukrainian." I mean, just that's huge discrimination, because how the tourist or traveler will learn Ukrainian because he would like to travel to Ukraine? Please, that's a discrimination. And I'm not talking about the gay people here. It's just discrimination. Like if we would travel to England, and it's more obvious they speak their English. That's true. That's easier for them. But all around the world, mostly you can get buy tickets or sleep in the hotels or travel in English language. And it's really, I don't know, for me is that quite painful, because I remember even when I was a teacher in Thailand, when two young boys come to me and they telling me the same, "You're in Thailand, you should speak Thai." I mean, and then I just think in my head, and I said, who teach them that? Who told them that? Their parents. And you should know that, if you were like a parent telling to your kids that everyone need to speak Ukrainian in the world, because Ukraine is something, or Russian in the world, doesn't matter. You should know that will just stop his or her education. Like I have in my family a huge problem, because one of I wouldn't like to say, but let's say in family, the girl was always listening to mom, who was saying that mathematics didn't work for her. And honestly, the mathematics didn't work for her daughter either. And she never finished the education, university, just because of the mathematics. So, and the same is with gay people, if your young boy or older boy will beat somebody on the street, gay, gypsy, immigrant, or whatever, somebody who is not like you think or he thinks should be, then you should start thinking who is responsible for that. And you are responsible, because you put those thoughts into his head. Same like those parents of those two Thai young boys, or parents of that lady who are selling tickets in ticket office in Lviv. And I can go on and on and on. So if you'd like to become an open country, and you'd like to join European Union and get democracy in your country, my dear Ukrainians, then you should start respecting everyone. And I mean everyone. And it's the same for all other countries. You know that Serbia and Russia are quite close together, and more or less, you know, their politics, they're quite similar too. And you know, they already have a war before, and I wouldn't doubt it if we would see another one soon there in that area. So, you know, it's up to you. I mean, you can fight the wars, or you start changing, or better word would be transforming yourself. But like I said, everything is up to you. Just giving you my experience of Ukraine, which I would say, at least from Lviv, it's a really nice place. But you will need to work on your citizens and educate them, but not just in English, but in human rights too. Because how can you, for an example, asking the world that Russia and Putin respect your borders, if you're not respecting people and their freedom? Ask yourself that question. I love you all. Thank you. From Lviv, Ukraine. If you'd like more about, or listen more about that sort of thoughts from God, then you're welcome to subscribe it. And more than just that, think about those words, and certainly think what you can do if you have kids, or what you can do in this world, that you can transform yourself first, and then things around you will transform too. Love you all. God, Francie.